Welcome to episode number 8 of CPAGuide.tv. My name is Brian Kessler and I am a licensed CPA in the state of Missouri. Today's video is all about unboxing Wiley CPAexcel's Platinum CPA Review Course. So this course is actually one of my favorite courses, but for a very specific reason that might not make it the best course for everybody. So we'll be diving into the pros and the cons, what I like, what I don't like about this course, whether CPAexcel is a course you should consider or if you should keep looking. So if this sounds good to you, let's get started. All right, so let's do an unboxing of Wiley CPAexcel's review course. So their team was nice enough to send me the brand new CPA review course and all their textbooks. So let's see if I can get this open with my knife. I'm hurting myself. All right, here we go. Oh boy, there's popcorn. Looks like we got some packing slips here. Everything you need to know about Wiley CPAexcel. All right, looks like we got some focus notes, some flashcards. All right, and these full textbooks. All right, here we go. Let's get this box off of here. Okay, so here are the 4 textbooks, all the flashcards, and then the focus notes. So this is everything that you'll receive in the Platinum CPA Review Course, their top of the line product. So let's see. So let's take a look at the focus notes. So the focus notes, these are essentially just a brief summary of each section. So it's basically just the slides from the actual lecture. So these are great to take on the go. Whenever you don't have internet access, you can just browse through these, get a quick refresher on each individual lecture. So I would recommend using them. I think it'll save you time by not having to manually take your own notes and so forth. So the textbooks, so these are the core of where you'll be spending a lot of your time with Wiley CPAexcel. So these textbooks are very in-depth. They include a lot of examples. They'll follow right along with your video lectures, so it's easy to open them up, follow along with the lectures, take notes, do whatever you need to do as you're going through. And they include a lot of examples that are step-by-step that will teach you the material and the journal entries and so forth. So I really like the textbooks. I would definitely be using the physical textbooks to take a lot of notes and so forth. And of course the flashcards that Wiley CPAexcel are known for. Let's go ahead and open one of these up. All right, so within the text or the flashcards, they send you hundreds of them. And so these are extremely easy to flip through. And so how they work is that they'll have a statement on the front and then you need to memorize the answer. So you just flip it over and it will include everything that you need to know and so forth. So this will save you a ton of time of not having to make your own flashcards. So I highly recommend using these as you progress through the Wiley CPAexcel material. It's a great review tool to keep everything fresh as you're going through the lectures and the multiple choice and so forth. So highly recommend using the flashcards. All right, so now that we've had a look at the actual physical materials, let's hop behind my computer and look at the actual online program where you'll be spending the majority of your time. All right, welcome to the Wiley CPAexcel website. So let's scroll down here and look at the 3 different products that they offer. So they've got the silver, the gold, and the platinum review course. So if you are somebody who prefers to self-study, you don't need any extra help answering questions that you might have, then I would recommend checking out the Silver CPA Review Course because it includes everything that you need to pass a CPA exam. You just don't get access to professor mentoring, which is the ability to ask one of the Wiley CPAexcel professors a specific question And you also don't get any of the extra bonuses here, like flashcards, extra multiple choice questions, and their virtual classroom and so forth. So the gold CPA review course. So this course is a couple $100 more than the silver one, but the main reason is because it will give you direct access to a Wiley CPAexcel professor. So if you're willing to outsource some of your questions so that you can avoid doing Googling research, looking at forums and so forth, then I highly recommend the Gold CPA Review Course. And of course, the Platinum CPA Review Course, it comes with literally everything that Wiley CPAexcel has to offer. So you get the extra 4,400 multiple choice questions, the access to the virtual classroom, which is the equivalent of a live classroom, it just happens all online, and then the additional printed materials. So overall, if you can afford the Platinum CPA Review Course, I highly recommend it. And actually, they did give me a 15% off coupon code. So if you use the CPA guide at checkout, it will take off 15% of that $22.95. So that really helps relieve some of the extra expense, but it's totally worth it just because of all the additional bonuses that you get with the Platinum CPA Review Course. So, and for today's review, I'm going to be covering everything that's included in the Platinum, Gold, and Silver. So let's go ahead now and log into my account. All right, so we've got the CPAexcel course and then the online test banks, which we'll be looking at later. So let's launch the course first. All right, welcome to the Wiley CPAexcel dashboard. So if you decide to go with Wiley CPAexcel, this is going to be your home for the next several months. So the first thing you're going to want to do is figure out the study planner, set up a plan, know your dates for when you're going to sit for the exam, because the last thing you want to do is procrastinate. So I've already set up my study plan, but all you need to do is to go back to manage your exam plan. And then based on whatever section you want to take first, you can always adjust your dates, but this is a syllabus that the automated study planner gave me. So I know my assignments, how long each assignment is going to take, and when I'm going to actually sit for the exam. So this is a very powerful tool, highly customizable, and I highly recommend that you use it. Once you have your exam plan set up, you can go down to your student course manager, and this tracks your progress, gives you an overall grade and shows how well you're doing as you progress through each section. All right, so now that you're familiar with what the dashboard looks like, how everything on Wiley CPAexcel works, let's go ahead and pop open one of the actual modules of their many bite-sized lessons. So this will give you a good idea of what to expect and how Wiley CPAexcel is going to save you a whole lot of time as you study. So let's go back behind my computer and check those out. All right, well, let's jump right into the first lesson. So here is our syllabus. So as you can see, on December 31st, I need to complete financial statement audits. So let's go to this section first. So the first thing that you should notice that for auditing and attestation, there's a welcome screen, there's an introductory video so you can meet the professors. There's also a support option, so if you have any issues with any of the software or studying, you can go there for help. They also provide updates to all the course material, and they give you an additional forum that you can join that is for student discussion. So this will be fellow peers that are asking questions and so forth, and you help each other out. So also within each section, you'll have the simulations, and then there's some tutors for helping you prepare for simulations, and also the audit simulated exam. Specifically, you're going to work through individual modules as you progress through the textbooks. So this is the highlighted yellow. So as you notice, financial statement audits is the item I clicked on the syllabus, and this is the area that's highlighted. So you know that today you need to get through all of these lectures and multiple choice questions. So let's work through the first one. So here's the accounting versus auditing. So you're going to have a 7-minute lecture. There's going to be some study text, a couple exam questions, and so forth. All right, so now that you understand what Wiley CPAexcel's bite-sized modules look like, let's actually watch a video lecture and I'll go through an actual lesson plan so that you'll know what to expect as you're watching lectures and going through the textbooks and so forth. All right, so to get to your first lecture, you're going to go up here to the lecture section, click the link, and then the video will automatically pull up and start playing. To me, it was a little bit confusing at first, but I figured out a little pro tip that you'll want to know right off the bat. So instead of just having the video here and then you have to use your text, you can also use the electronic text. And I figured out that you can click this button right here and it will pull up your study text side by side. So that way you can watch the video and work through the text on your computer or laptop or whatever device you're using. So this was a little pro tip that I found and wanted to share with you and make sure you knew about. Let's take a look at an example of the lecture and kind of get you an idea of how professional and useful these bite-sized lectures truly are.
We have Happy the auditor there who focuses on two distinct aspects of an audit engagement. What we evaluate the fairness or reliability potential financial statement measurement criteria uses the term applicable financial reporting framework. So I'll try to remember to say GAAP or other applicable financial reporting framework such as IFRS.
Okay, so as you can see, it's a mixture of PowerPoint slides and live classroom lectures. So the lecturer is very straightforward, presents the material very clearly, can be a little bit dry, and I've listened to a few of the other lecturers and they're very straightforward, but all of them seem, they don't have as much flair as some of the other lecturers out in the industry. So something to keep in mind, but again, the lectures are bite-sized, so they stay within 10 to 25 minutes a piece. So this is great for somebody like me who hates the idea of sitting in front of a lecturer for 2 to 3 hours at a time. So I like the process that Wiley CPAexcel has created where you watch a brief lecture, then immediately jump into the multiple choice questions and reviewing, and it's a constant learning / reviewing process. So I think it's very effective and very efficient, which is very important because as an accountant, you do not have very much time. All right, so the lectures, they're pretty good. They move quick. That you can sit down for 10 to 15 minutes, just knock them out, and you feel like you're getting things done, and you're not getting bored because you're not sitting there for 3 hours in a row watching just one lecture. So you're constantly moving between lectures, your textbook, and what I want to talk about next, which is multiple choice. So let's hop back behind my computer and take a look at their multiple choice platform. All right, so let's take a look at some multiple choice questions. So after you've watched the lecture, the next thing you'll want to do after reading the text is to go in and take a practice exam over that material. So you can either do it in study mode, which will tell you the correct or wrong answer immediately after you make your selection, or you can take it in the simulated exam format, which will treat it like the true exam, and you'll learn whether you got the questions right or wrong after you've completed the exam. So let's take a quick quiz in the simulated exam format. So as you can see, it's very similar to what you'll see on the real CPA exam. So we can make our selection here, click next, make selection here, and then we'll exit. And as you can see, I got both questions right. And then you can click the details, and it will show you why I got them right and what the correct response was. So this is very useful for learning why you got a question right and not just getting the question right to get it right. All right, so the Wiley CPAexcel multiple choice, they're very powerful. They have the most multiple choice questions in the industry. So I highly recommend at least signing up for the free trial and test out what you think of Wiley CPAexcel. So as you notice, there were some additional supplemental features within each individual module. So let's take a look at those now. Wiley CPAexcel also offers some amazing supplemental materials for each module. So you'll want to check each one out before you move on. So the first one is to check out the slides. So these slides are essentially the focus notes, which we discussed earlier in the video. And as you can see, it's just PowerPoint slides of the video lecture. So everything that you see in the lecture will show up on these slides. So that's just one of the resources that you have at your disposal. The additional other resource would be the flashcards. So you can buy these printed, or you can use these electronic ones. So it gives you the question, and then you can flip the card over. So you just memorize the definitions and then move on.
So these are highly useful. You can use them in mobile apps or on your actual dashboard here. And if you purchase the Video Gold Medal or the Platinum course, you get access to the CPAexcel mentor discussions. So this feature is for you personally to go ask your question, and then an actual professor will come back within 24 hours and give you the correct response. So let's check this one out. So as you can see, this particular user, he posted a question, and then the professor responded.
Okay, so now that you understand everything that's within an individual module or bite-sized lesson that is offered by Wiley CPAexcel, it's time to take a look at something that's extremely crucial, especially going forward in 2017, and that's going to be preparing for simulations. So let's take a look at some of their task-based simulations now on my computer.
Okay, so just real quick, I want to go over these task-based simulation tutors. So you go to this section here and it pulls up all the different individual modules for audit. So let's check the first one here, and then I've already filled out the simulation. But this is essentially what you will get whenever you do a TBS tutor. So it gives you all the directions, then it'll take you to the simulation. You'll fill out all the appropriate information, read the directions. You're given the research literature. You can split vertically. You get your calculator, and you also get a spreadsheet, just like you would on the real exam. So then once you've filled everything out, then you click exit. Okay. Let's see. So it looks like I scored a 58% on this particular simulation, and then it shows the details, and it shows me which ones I got wrong and so forth. So this is a very powerful feature. I highly recommend you use it, and it's great training for you to prepare for the real thing.
All right, so we've covered multiple choice questions, simulations, and lectures, and everything that's within an individual bite-sized lesson. Now, let's look at the most crucial step in the Wiley CPAexcel review system, multiple choice analytics. So this is where you're going to identify your strengths and your weaknesses. So let's hop behind the computer and learn how to use those.
Okay, so once you've gone through all the modules and gone through the simulations and you're feeling pretty good, it's time to check out your scorecard. So this is your scorecard summary over here. It shows you how long you've studied, percentage of lessons completed, and basically gives you a good idea of how well you're doing and where you need to focus more. So let's look further at the details. So once you pull up the details, it breaks out each individual module, lets you know your percentage grade overall, how many questions you've completed, how many simulations you've completed, and basically gives you a good idea of where you're at and where you need to focus your time. So this is probably the most powerful feature of Wiley CPAexcel, because this really lets you know how prepared you are, where you need to study, and it just helps save you so much time of preventing you from duplicating your study efforts on areas where you're already stronger. So this is where you really need to watch yourself, see where you're at, and then focus on those particular areas. So then once you have a good idea of where you are, you can create a simulated exam based on your performance and the individual areas that you need to focus on, which is very valuable.
All right, so analytics are crucial to passing the CPA exam. So there are an additional supplemental product that Wiley CPAexcel offers, and it's their online test bank. So this is literally just a bank of thousands of multiple choice questions that they are included with the Platinum review course, but if you have the Silver or Video Gold Medal, you can purchase them separately. So I highly recommend using the online test bank as your final review. So this is a completely separate product from the CPAexcel course outline. So this is something that it has a separate login and so forth. So let's take a walk through and look at the pros and cons of the Wiley CPAexcel online test bank.
Okay, so here is Wiley CPAexcel's online test bank for their thousands of multiple choice questions and simulations. So let's take a look at what FARS looks like. Okay, so you have three options. You've got practice questions, your simulations, and then a practice exam. So let's start with practice questions. So here is each individual module for financial accounting and reporting. So this corresponds with the study materials that Wiley gives you. And you have 3 different options. You can either select to do a test bank of any of the available questions, the questions you haven't answered, the questions you've answered incorrectly, or any questions that you flagged. So let's just do some from the ones that I have not answered yet. Okay, so you have the option to flag each question if you want to. There's also a need a hint button, so you just click that and it'll give you a small hint, and then you can also see the reference. So this pulls right from the study materials. And then once you've come up with your answer, you click and it'll either tell you if you're right or wrong, and then you can find the right answer and it'll tell you why you got it right or wrong. So it's very quick, very easy, clean setup, and you just go down the line, and then you, when you're done, then you can just pause the session. Okay, and then so to go back to it, then you can go to your history, and then you'll see the practice exam here, start at 3:18, and then you just click on it, and it'll take you right back. So it's very easy to use and keep track of what questions you've done and where you need to study harder. So similarly, you have your simulations tab. You can select any of the modules that you want to take a simulation for, and then you just click Start Session, and then it looks just like what you'll see on the actual CPA exam. And then you do your research questions, then fill in the dollar amounts, and it also splits it out just like you would see on the CPA exam, and gives you the calculator and your spreadsheet. And same thing, you can come back and readdress any of the simulations that you want. Okay, so once you're in your final review mode, it's time to take a practice exam. So this will set up, this is exactly what you'll see on the CPA exam. You've got your 30 questions, and then you can flag whichever ones you want. And as you go through them, so this time around, you pick your answer. It doesn't tell you the answer if you got it right or wrong. So you work through all of these, and then you just click exit to go to the next tab. So either you can continue to the second testlet or quit the practice exam. So for now, we'll just quit the practice exam. Okay, so some of the powerful analytics that you do get with Wiley is their module progress. So when you click on there, it will tell you by module how many questions you've done, how many you've attempted, what's your score, and so this way you can really see by module where you're weaker and where you should probably focus more of your time. All right, so the last thing that I want to cover is the Wiley CPAexcel virtual classroom. So for any of you who lack structure and need more of a live classroom type setting, the virtual classroom is exactly what you need. And Wiley CPAexcel is constantly organizing new virtual classrooms. So as you can see, the next one starts in January 14th, and they also have one for foreign regulation and so forth. So they'll make sure that it fits your schedule, and you just kind of follow their plan, and then you'll attend these live online classes, and that's it. It's how you'll progress through the entire materials, and they'll give you homework and so forth. So let's go ahead and take a look at an archived version of BEC. All right, so here is the virtual classroom tab. So as you can see, there's 5 different modules. They cover that. This is the live video. So you click on here, and it'll take you to the video. Module 1, so this link will take you directly to the study materials. So we can click that, and it will highlight your assignment here in the sidebar. So everything in yellow is what you're expected to complete. Let's see. All right, we'll have to go back. All right, and then so then it will record all your results here. Module 1, it'll record all your most missed questions, and then of course they've got the conclusion archive video as well. So again, this will all happen live if you sign up, or you can use these archived versions as well if you prefer to use that instead of the bite-sized lessons. So let's go ahead and click on an archived video. All right, so click next and it'll take you to Adobe Connect. Takes a couple seconds to load. Okay, so here is what happens in the virtual classroom. So you've got the lobby. So it records all the chat that happened, and you can access that right over here. So the professors will come in, or a virtual classroom administrator will kind of handle that. Here's the professor checking in. Let's see, so there's some surveys here. Then there's the class handout, so you'll want to print that out. And then the important notes and so forth. So then once you'll spend, it looks like, a couple minutes in the lobby discussing what's going to happen and so forth. Then you click on the intro. So then the video begins.
Of which you will have 72, account for 85% of your required as the form of writing. Now, notice, between those written requirements, it comes from the situation I'm going to use. You may not be familiar with it. Not yet anyway. But you will become familiar with it as you go through.
All right, so as you can see, it's very live, very personal. He's going through slides and so forth, and it looks like this entire lecture went for an hour and 4 minutes. So if this is how you learn best, then I really highly recommend that you check out the virtual classroom, because this way you'll always have an archived version of this lecture, and you can watch it live. I like the archive version because you can pause it, take notes, catch up, and so forth, and everybody's the chat's already there. So the only downside to the archive is you can't ask a question as it's going on. So that's another advantage of showing up live, is that you're able to chat live and have the virtual classroom administrator answer your question and so forth. But it's very cool and very interactive, and if you're somebody who really needs a lot of structure, so somewhere to sign in and show up at a specific date on a specific time, then the virtual classroom is definitely a good option for you to consider. All right, so we have looked at everything that Wiley CPAexcel has to offer, and it was a lot. So now let's do a high-level review, do a pros and cons of what Wiley CPAexcel offers. So what did I like, what did I not like, and should you consider Wiley CPAexcel as your primary CPA review course? So let's hop behind my computer and we can go over these pros and cons now. All right, so who is Wiley CPAexcel Review for? Well, the silver course is absolutely for self-studiers who don't need outside help, who prefer to go at their own pace and just really manage the entire study process. The gold course is absolutely for anybody who prefers to self-study but needs lectures and is willing to spend a little bit extra to have access to the Wiley CPAexcel CPA exam experts. And then the platinum course is for anybody who wants to ensure they have more than enough to pass the CPA exam on their first try. And again, if you use the CPA Guide promo code, it'll take 15% off the price and make it a little bit more manageable. Because I really think that the platinum course is the go-to course for any CPA candidate who is taking the CPA exam. And I can personally attest to the fact that if I had to retake the entire CPA exam, I would be using the platinum course to take the CPA exam. All right, so let's go over some of the pros. So CPAexcel absolutely has the most multiple choice questions available of any CPA review course in the industry, and they offer 600 plus simulations. The virtual classroom is a really cool feature that is for those people who need kind of a more live classroom setting and needs a lot more structure. It's a great option to have. And what I really like about Wiley CPAexcel is their guarantee that you will have access to their course and all future updates until 1 year after you pass the CPA exam. So I just really like that they stand behind their product and don't require you to make expensive renewals and so forth. I really also like the bite-sized lectures. So this allows you to spend more time studying and less time highlighting. for sure. The study planner, it's very advanced. I really like how automated it is. But just because you're always going to be having changes happen in your own schedule. And they also have a team of experienced teachers and professionals who do write their textbooks and record all their lectures. So again, all these are great advantages to using Wiley CPA Excel. So some of the cons that I did find are that the lectures, compared to other CPA review courses out there, they are a bit dry. But that being said, the content is very efficiently presented, and the video size is very small. So, if you're somebody with a short attention span, as long as you can pay attention for 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to be fine. The Wiley CPA Excel software, it does take a bit to fully understand, and it is, in terms of presentation, a bit outdated compared to some of the other courses. So don't expect to be using this on your mobile or tablet. It really isn't very responsive. And this, I'm more of a techie nerd, so that's why I truly love all the different features that Wiley CPA Excel offers. But if you're looking for a more simple interface, Wiley CPA Excel might not be for you. The third con that I found is that there's a real disconnect between Wiley's multiple choice online test banks, the mobile apps, and then the actual CPA Excel review course. So, there's a whole lot going on. There's a lot to keep track of, and that, the different apps, they don't really communicate with each other. So hopefully in the future that this is something that's going to be more housed in one package instead of having multiple different products all going at once. But when a company buys out another company and so forth, it gets a little bit complicated. So it's just a matter of time before all this is put into a more straightforward package. And another con is that their mobile apps, they haven't been updated since 2012. So it's almost getting to the point where I almost don't recommend that you even consider using them until they've been updated, just because, the materials are outdated. A lot has changed in the past 3 years. So, so just something for you to be aware of. All right, so what's the next step? Well, if you are interested in learning more about Wiley CPA Excel, then you need to try their free trial. That's 14 days. It's perfect for giving you a taste of what their course has to offer. So depending where you're watching this video, there's going to be a button or a link that you can click that will take you directly to the page where you can sign up. And if you're on iTunes, there's not going to be a link. So head over to cpaexamguide.com, and then you can find my written review there on my best CPA review courses page. All right, so if you want to be sure you're making the right decision on a CPA review course, then please take out your phone right now and text CPA review to 33444, and I will email you my proven 7 steps to picking the best CPA review course for you cheat sheet. So this is exactly what you need to step-by-step determine which review course is best for you based on how you actually learn. So if that sounds like a plan, I just wanted to thank you so much for watching this review. I really hope that it helped you, and if you've made it this far, I'll catch up with you in the next episode.